Okay, I thought we'd do a little more Clair for this week since the video was so short and I left out so much hair. So you can see that I put in just sort of a beige mixture. I think it had a little bit of Naples yellow and the Queen Coral and maybe a little bit of burnt umber. So now I've got some raw sienna, and I have this purple mixture that I had used on the skin, which I want to save some of that because I want more, I don't have enough cools on the tops of the hands, for instance. But I'm going to take a little of that, and I'm going to put it over here in this. You see what that did to it? Boy, that really dulled it down and darkened it. But see, now it's quiet. In fact, it's almost the right color. Okay. For some of the light areas of the hair. So let's see what we can do here. And I'll admit, I don't know where I'm going. I'm feeling my way through this. And I think that that's one of the things that experience helps you have a little more confidence that you can feel your way through these things, because you really, I think anyway, the way I paint, I need to kind of just sense where I'm going and play with it. So this is so much lighter than this that if I go over both areas, see that I will get two values. All of this hair is lighter than this. Then I could take a little bit of just burnt umber there and possibly pull a little bit in. That looks really rough right there. I think it'll work out when it dries. Like I said, a lot of things that sometimes you think you've got some really great granulation going on, and then when it dries, it's not so cool anymore. Okay, so I really need to look at a little area of this at a time and think about what's there, and not just start going over all the hair doing da-da-da-da-da everywhere. And if you are in the habit of going da-da-da-da-da everywhere, you know who you are. Okay. Let's do a little of that, and then a little of our base color. So these areas are not in the sunlight at all, but I just wanted to keep the quality of the curl there and thought that maybe masking would help me, because there's just so much going on here that it's real easy to get lost. And then again, I'm going to soften some of these edges along the hairline and pull that down over the skin a little ways. There. See, that makes that transition that you really need. Okay, so I'm picking up more burnt umber. And, okay, I've got an area here. Might be doing something like that. Let's soften some edges here. That'll get a layer of this other color on top of it eventually, and we'll see what that does to it. That'll soften it a little bit. So I can be just a little bit maybe more graphic with this than I really want it to wind up, because it's going to get more work on top of it. right here. And I want to be careful along this edge of the head that I get kind of a smooth contour there, because that's her skin. I'm going to want to pull a little more hair color in over there, but right now I just want a nice clean edge because I'd gotten a little bit sloppy with it before. Tell you what, let's just pick some of this up. I didn't wash my brush out well enough here. Now let's pick some of this up. And you will notice that some of these curls come out and then they almost do a thing like that because of the direction of the curl. I think I'll do that. And have some fun here. You know, a few little squiggly happy areas just do wonders for a painting. Okay, so see, that gives us an excuse to have a little bit of playfulness ever so often. And we'll do more of this. It may be a little early to get that involved in it. Let's have this curl. There's some dark area there, and then there's a curl came out that way. Yeah, we'll just bring that all the way back to the head, maybe. See, I just don't have the edge of her head shaped quite right. I want that contour to be pretty nice right there. You know, there are places to be picky and places not to be. So you can see that we're going to have to add, this is not the our darkest dark yet. Have to make sure, I keep checking my recording. I made a real botch up on the last recording, and it's real easy to do. I swear sometimes the camera changes itself. It really doesn't, but it feels like it does. There. So I put in a few squigglies that weren't there to make up for some of the squigglies I missed. So now I'm a little bit loosened up on it. We're making progress here. Yeah, it has the spirit of the thing. So now the scary part, this. And this comes down over her eye in some places. I may not bring it quite that far down just because, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I'm going to redraw. I can see a little bit of some of my drawing here. There are curls going this way and this way. I'm going to change the shape of this curl right here. See this one that runs kind of parallel to the edge of the ear? I think I'm going to move it and make it not parallel anymore. All right, so that kind of gives me a start on this. I have a dark area here between some of the curls and another dark area here between some of the curls. And I think, and then there's a curl coming over this way. There's some stuff going here that's dark. I think I'm going to put those darker areas in now. I'll just use some burnt umber. Remember, all of this is going on dry paper. So I'm being a little more careful with this. First of all, I'm in that area that is going out over her face. And I don't want to have to scrub any of that up. So let's just do that. And let's come in here. And then there's some more right to this side of another curl. And you may not be able to follow it exactly, keep up with what curl where here. You might, but you might not be able to. But that's not going to be that important. Because, I'm fixing to tell you why. I think I'm fixing to tell you why. It's not going to be that important because it's the spirit of the thing, the way that I'm going about it. Not that you make every stroke the way I made every stroke. Okay, let's see what this does. So I would like to be just thoroughly loose and devil may care here, but I've got too much work into this now to have it go south on me. Here's, I put a little burnt umber in there and change the direction on some of this. So this curl needs to look like it's a natural falling curl, not like something I worried over too much. Curls are a little bit messy. You know, they don't necessarily follow some grand design here. At least not that I can tell. Well, that's a beginning on it, but it looks way, way too controlled. And part of it, this little curl area right here will help. Well, I didn't do it quite the way it was coming out here. There. Let's just do some of that. Let's pull a little more darks up in some of this. Remember, the areas between some of the curls are actually darker because they're more in shadow. Oh, holding my breath. I think I'll work on our eyebrows a little bit. Again, with this this raw sienna mixture that we made. I want to break that up. That looks way too heavy for a little baby. There. See, I just put a little water into it and a little dot. Now, I've got more eyebrows showing here because I didn't pull the curl out as far. Whoops. That eyebrow's way too thick. See, that looks like an older person. Let's just blot that and see. There. Okay, we got a suggestion. I think we've got more of a shadow there. That's a little something. We'll keep that for now. Oh, I don't know. Then there's a light colored curl coming from over here that should have been masked, I guess. Okay, so see, this is not near right yet. I think things are drying fast enough that I can just keep working here, because if I hit some areas and soften them a little bit, that may be all to the good. One of these curls comes out on top of the other, and I'm not getting that look. This area right in here. Again, want to hit that with some water and soften it. Oh, I like what that did right there. Okay, I'm going to, well, let's do just a little bit more, and then I'm going to back off for a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and go darker. Whoop, careful about that silhouette here. See, so I've got some curls plotted out here, and then I can decide if I want to darken some of them and how much of them I want to darken. Let that fade out as it comes out. Oh, that's better. See, I'm getting the hang of it now. Unfortunately, I didn't have the hang of it when I started out, but still. This part of the curl come out in front of the other part of the curl. Of course, that's too much color change there. Let's soften that a bunch. Give it a little block. There. Okay, that's not too bad. Maybe just a little touch of something there. All right, good. Okay, so I'm gonna keep saying I'm gonna take a break, but no, I'm not taking a break yet. Yeah, sometimes when you have to concentrate really hard, sometimes you need more frequent breaks. Back off, look at it, relax a little while, come back to it, see what you think before you proceed, because it may tell you that you've been doing the wrong thing, or it may tell you you're really on the right track. You'll see one area that is better than the other areas, and you know that you want to do more of that, right? Because that's just how it all works. So we'll soften a few edges, particularly like where dark, maybe let the tail of it, go soft. So now you see this curl now stands out in front. So I'm just sort of messing around and tweaking this a little bit. I did a little bit more hair in here, working up that way, but then I was getting hair fatigued. So I caught myself working with this purple and some of the red, and just the tiniest little bits of the purple is enough. There's an area there that ought to be lighter. I'll have to think about that. So, a little bit of the purple or blue. Okay. tiny bits of a cool color, a blue or purple, whatever, will darken your skin tones a whole lot. So you have to be careful not to get too much because it can be quite a shock. See, I've already put a little bit more blue in there, and I got this little divide right in here. That needs some more. Let's take some burnt umber and put into a little bit of red. That's really not the right red, but it'll work. And just tweak this area of the nostril just a little bit. I think what I'm going to do, I'm putting that in there maybe just a little bit heavy. And I think I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to come back and move it around just a tiny bit. So one of the things I was concerned about was whether I had the eyes too blue, the whites of the eyes too blue. And I do. I have decided, I have cooled some of these areas and that looks too blue. So I'm simply going to come back tiniest bit. This is actually Quin Burnt Scarlet, but you could use your skin mixture. It doesn't take much of this. See that tiny little bit of soup there? That's enough. Yeah, that takes that too blue look out of there. But see, it's still bluer than her skin. It can be shadowed really, really dark even. As long as it's got a little more blue in it than the skin, it will read as a white in shadow. Works every time so far. So I think I'll take a little bit more of that. And I want a little more shadow. Whoops. Right in under here. Just a tiny bit. And you don't even necessarily need to soften the edge. Maybe part of the edge. I guess I softened the whole thing. Again, see, I'm pulling some of that dry paint over, and I'm getting it. Look at that tiny little bit of paint. That makes a difference in the shape. And when you're working with a young child, you want to be careful because you can overshape things so easily. Actually, that spot doesn't come down like that. It's a thing like this. That's getting pretty close to right. Another little bit of that stuff. And let's make that little area right there a little stronger. So I'm just showing you all the things that I look at when I do this. And I really don't have the shape quite right here. This nose is just a little bit too angular, but it's not bad. It's not bad, okay. Because you see how those tiny, tiny little bits make a real difference? Okay, so what are we going to do here to shadow some of these other areas? Let's try a little of this purple. And by a little of this purple, I'm picking up something like that. This is not quite as weak. I'm going to make this little shape right down in here. Instead of using a brown, see, I'm using a purple. And then I'm going to come back, and boy, I've got most of the water off of this. So I just barely want to soften that edge. Okay, let's try a little of that over here. Yeah, a job like this on the hair, I can't stay focused on that the whole time. I just can't. I have to take breaks because when I'm not working on a facial feature or something, it's more abstracted. I have to work harder to keep my place and to do the right thing. It doesn't, for one thing, it doesn't call your attention as much as the human face does, simply because that's how we're wired to look at faces. I think I want a little more pink. Let's get some Quin Coral. Put it right over here. I want a little more pink right on this part of this finger. You know, you could, and I don't plan to leave it that dark, but you can exaggerate these things some. In fact, it's fun to exaggerate them. Sometimes I exaggerate them just to make a slightly prettier picture. It depends on whether this is about a portrait of the person or whether I'm going to have fun as an artist. And those two things don't necessarily go together. So I'm going to work on this some more. What I will do is I'll leave these areas alone until I'm on camera, but I might take some of that purple. Yeah, some of that same purple, and I might pull a little of that. You can actually see that it's a purplish tone here. Now, on camera, I don't know if you can, but here I can see a little bit of purple laying on top of this, and when this dries, it won't be that purple. But that will give me some darks, and it'll give me some prettier darks than if I just went black or brown. Okay, so that is all of this lesson until next week. I forgot to hold this up. And also to tell you that I am going to do something special with this, with the little whites that I'm leaving white up here. So don't get ahead of me with those, okay? And let's see, it's hard to get it all on camera at this angle. Okay, so there we go for today.